All right, so I wanted to speak a little bit about greetings. You know, we have a lot of rituals that we kind of do, how to say, without even thinking.
Yeah.
We squat down before we start playing, so we don't stand above the person who is leading, which I'm sure you could talk about that.
Yeah.
A lot of times people will go to the side and touch just the crown of their head without touching their chest or their knees to the floor, to kind of like give homage. They don't even, I don't think many people know necessarily why. So
touching the crown of your head to the earth.
Yeah, to the earth.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of times people will, in front of an elder or before finishing, they'll kind of like, can we see? They'll touch the floor before leaving. Some people, when a beating bow breaks, they'll touch the top of the beating bow to the center. They'll hit it a few times. Wow. Think about that, Baba.
Interesting.
Think how it looks. Yeah. And they're touching into a circle. Wow. They're touching it through a circle.
Look at you.
Wow.
I just now thought about it. I just found out.
The Iroke and the Opon.
Yeah. I don't know if you have it here.
We have Opon and Iroke here.
I don't know where my
There's one in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
So,
here, this one you can hold up.
And then, so maybe you guys could talk a little bit about how do you greet an elder? How do men greet an elder? How do women greet an elder?
Wow.
How do you I know that certain orishas you don't put your knees down. Maybe you could touch.
Can we simplify it a little bit?
Yeah, simplify it.
Don't go too deep.
Not too deep.
So the general. So
yeah.
Touching the head to the earth is sacred for us. The earth is sacred for us. Ayer, the earth is sacred. So when we're touching our head, we call it mo fori bale. Mo means I. Mo fori bale. Ori, I touch my head to ile, to the earth. So mo fori bale, we're touching our head, showing respect. We're touching our head. So we will, when we're greeting a shrine or we're greeting elders,
that's what we do.
Sometimes it's done once, sometimes it's done a number of times, maybe 3 times. 3 is a sacred number, but that's another story. But mofori bale means I touch my head to the earth. The head is sacred and the earth is sacred. It's almost as if I'm touching my head to Mother Earth's head. I'm greeting her. And you'll see that in some communities where we will touch Maurice together. That's a very powerful thing. It's a very, very powerful thing. You'll see that done in some of the Haitian Voodoo circles. They will do that. But the head is sacred, the earth is sacred, and that is a general greeting that even traditional Yorubas will do to elders, male or female. The men will lay all the way down on the ground, dobale. They will lay all the way down on the ground, and the women will do another part of that. You want to speak on that?
So traditionally in Ifa culture, the women shouldn't be touching their breasts to the ground. So
why is that? Do you know why?
Your breasts are sacred.
Okay.
Yeah. So the power of the energy in your breasts, you don't want to touch them all the way to the ground. Mm-hmm. So we kunle, which is just here. It's kind of what we did, but you're just here and then you touch your head there.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself is a sacred position. For women in Ifa, it's a sacred prayer position. You'll see it on a lot of our tools have this sacred position. It's also a position that women give birth in. So the thing to know about Yoruba culture is that paying homage to things and respect for elders is huge.
Yes.
There's a hierarchy, and always giving thanks and respect to those who came before you and your teachers is huge for us. And it keeps you humble. And so in relation to capoeira, you guys are doing just that, always paying homage before you start the game. And, as you were saying, in a circle, this circular thing. And then it's funny that you said that, but this is an Ifa tool, this is an Ifa tool. These are diviners' tools, and tapping tapping a bending bow to the middle of the circle, it makes perfect sense. So, you know, I think that we've retained so much in the diaspora that has been transferred over. We've retained it all, and you see it in expressions like capoeira. So these are tools that have now manifested in different things in capoeira. You know, the bending bow, the iroke, the hoda, yoponifa.
And you said about the kunle. So the aspect of what we call ori, which is your spiritual head and your destiny. You have ori inu, which is your spiritual and your character. You said kunle, what Fayomi was talking about is the kneeling position that women will take a lot of times. There were a couple of things that you triggered. Not standing over an elder is very, very important. So that's why we will squat when we greet an elder, especially if they have the status of an oba or a chief. You do not speak over on top of their head. That's why there's Oduifa that speaks of the okra not growing higher than the farmer and becoming arrogant. The farmer will cut it down. So kunle, we have 3 parts of ori. Kunleyan, akunleyan means to kneel and choose your destiny. Akunlegba is the thing that is given to you to enhance your destiny. And then ayamo is another way to kneel, that the things are part of your destiny that you cannot change. You know, so the kneeling is very important. Like Fayomi said, it's also traditionally that's how women gave birth. In a kneeling position, there was a spirit called ikunle, kneeling, abiyamo, the way you kneel and you give birth. You know, so kneeling is really, really an important thing. Now, when we said the men, dobale, and some of the old part of the warrior piece of that was that we said that you hide your elbows, so your arms would be placed at your side, so your elbows aren't showing. That's total submission.
Submission, respect. Just
so I'm not in combat mode.
Right, exactly.
I'm not in combat mode. I'm laying all the way down for you, dobale. A lot of times that was done for the men, and the king knew that these guys weren't getting up ready to fight. And there's many ways to do that, but that's the general way. So you see a lot of things that are from Ifa that have moved into the secular culture, because you'll still see it in Yoruba land today. The Yorubas have many ways of greeting. Greeting is a big thing, you know. And then we would need more time to go into it, but kunle, she was speaking on kunle, and I was speaking on fori ballet. But touching the head to the earth is that's how you greet shrines. That's who you would greet an elder. You know, so there's different forms of greeting, but those are the 2 basic general greetings. You know, so greeting is very, very important.
You know,